Welcome, everybody, to the feed. I am your master of ceremonies. Going to be joining you for a little bit here, talking wrestling and all kinds of stuff in between. Myself and my lovely producer, the one and only, the Foxy, Dominique. Hey, babe. A lot to cover this past week. A lot happened. So we're going to start right at the top, and we're going to start. We have 3 topics on this show. This is the very first episode of the feed. This will be coming at you every Friday, 2:05 Eastern Standard Time. The first topic will be news from the feed. So I'll look around on WrestleZone, Wrestle Inc., and of course, we'll go to Uncle Dave over at Wrestling Observer. And then I will play a little Fantasy Booker, where I'll take the current surprise that everybody's talking about right now is Ricky Starks coming into NXT. Showed up this past Tuesday. Surprise! It's nice to see that kind of stuff, by the way. Even now with the internet and everything's out and about, and we knew that he had gotten released from AEW, but the fact that he was able to show up like that on WWE programming on NXT makes me happy that there's still some surprises left in pro wrestling. So it was nice to kind of be surprised from a Mark's perspective, if you will. And of course, then the last topic will be Tony's takes. I take a particular topic and just talk about it. I see that Menjoza and Just Jeff are in the chats. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you, man. Not much here to learn about wrestling, so I appreciate you. Well, you're here. You come to the right place, Jeffrey, because we're gonna go through some of this stuff. I'm gonna talk about. Of course, the show is opinion based. I'm not saying that I'm smarter than anybody else. This is just my opinions about what's going on, and we'll discuss. If you have any questions, if you have any comments regarding some of these stories, sound off in the comments, and we will get right to it. First things first, I'm going to start right here at the top with, listen, everybody knows how I feel about Edge. And if you haven't, let me just break this down for you. I have never been a big fan of this guy. Talented. I'm not saying that he's not. I'm not saying that he hasn't put on some memorable moments or given us some stuff that we could talk about for years to come. But in terms of like, drawing power, I don't think he's ever had it. I don't think he's ever had it. But let's Cope looking at injuries in wrestling as challenges to overcome. Well, this is a great topic to talk about. Cope takes pride in overcoming injuries and returning to the ring to do what he loves. Okay, All Elite Wrestling's Adam Copeland recently sat down with Wrestling Radio Australia when asked how he was feeling coming back from his recent leg injury. And this is another thing about Edge, by the way. This guy gets hurt a lot. And I don't know if it's just his age, but I think it's his wrestling style. He's like one of the, I always refer to him as like, he's one of the catalysts. There was a few catalysts in wrestling to me that started this whole spot monkey craze. And it was ECW had a lot to do with it with Rob Van Dam. I'm not saying this in a negative way. So I hope nobody doesn't think I'm like casting aspersions on these guys because I don't like what they did. No, they all have their mark on pro wrestling. They're very talented guys. But what I'm saying is, they were the first ones. That's like Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudley Boys when they were doing those TLC matches. It's very spot based, and I think they were the ones that kind of ushered in that style, that very spot based wrestling style. Or I don't say choreographed because I hate to say that because I used to be a worker, so I don't like to kind of say that kind of shit, but I feel like it's that kind of shit where they kind of ushered in that style. Shawn Michaels kind of, to me, brought in the Lucha Libre style to the public eye in terms of WWF fan, not WCW fan or ECW fan. All those, they brought him. I know. But Shawn Michaels, to me, really brought the Lucha Libre style. I know they brought in a couple of luchadors every now and again, but nobody really paid attention. It wasn't until Shawn really started doing all that stuff people started paying attention. Don't talk trash about RVD, I'll walk. I love Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam holds a very special place in my heart considering he's one of the greatest pothead wrestlers of all time. And just how good he was in the ring. He was very good. I'm not saying he was bad, but that being said, let me just continue this reading this. Cope said it's not really something he thinks about by the time he's back in the ring. Okay, so this now is a quote from one Adam Copeland. They call him Cope. His name was Edge. This fucking guy has the worst wrestling names in the history of pro wrestling. By the way, I don't know what's worse, his uh uh his stupid gimmicks or his fucking his his uh uh his stupid names. Let me put on some music here. Ooh, I like this name. I call it Heartbeat Under Moonlight. Huh? Nice, right? My wife is over here thinking I'm crazy. I love you. Isn't there a point where the body gives out though, especially when yeah, well here's the thing, bud. Like that's the thing. His body has told him that multiple times because he broke his neck, I think twice. Edge. And he's been fucked up pretty good a few times where I think doctors have told him not to come back. But what happened was recently, I think this recent comeback when he came back to WWE the first time, he was in the best shape of his life. I mean, he still is great shape, but he was in the best shape of his life, and he was feeling good. And that's usually what happens. Your body just kind of heals itself. And then when you've taken, because he took like 9 years away, I think, from the WWE. I think he retired in 2011. And he came back in 2019. So she came right back before, I think right before the pandemic. He returned to Rumble. So like he was in good shape and he felt like he'd come back. But as soon as you come back and you start working the style and you start working regularly, this shit's gonna happen. And it happened, and he constantly gets hurt. And he's working against guys like, no, with all due respect, like he's in AEW right now. So he's working guys in AEW that I'm not saying that they're talented guys, but like I don't know, there's something about WWE because in WWE he didn't get hurt as much. Like he got hurt, but he doesn't get hurt as much as because he's only been in AEW for a short time, a few years, and he's gotten hurt so many times and bad injuries that have kept him out for extended periods of time. So he goes, yeah, with an injury, I don't think much about them, Cope admitted. Like once I come back, I put the work in before you see me in the ring. So for me, that's already months past. So basically, he just works his ass out until he doesn't not worried about the injury being a lingering injury. So he makes sure he takes the time. And that's the thing too. With advancements in all this medical shit, you can definitely bounce back quick. I think the last episode we did, the first episode we did was we talked about Rey Mysterio's like regimen that he does because he's another catalyst in terms of the spot monkey style, or it's very spot based. Injuries come by his pain, get done right. It just sounds like a horrible idea, and it is. But again, eventually, that's why I loved the wrestlers in ECW. The timing of the exchanges were too fast, I thought. Which are you talking about? The Lucha Libre style? Because that, like I said, here's the thing. And I don't, like I said, I'm not, I don't want anybody to ever think that I'm a WWE shill, because I'm really not. But the WWE to me is considered like the major leagues. It's like the MLB, it's the NBA, it's NFL. And all this other stuff is either minor league baseball, or like college football, college basketball, and shit like that. So when you watch those styles back there, those guys are not refined, is what I'm just is my long-winded point here. So the guys in ECW, guys in WCW, they weren't getting proper I'm gonna say agents, but like a lot of, if you guys don't know what an agent backstage is, they help produce the match for the two wrestlers. So they sit down with the two wrestlers and they help kind of come up with everything, right? And I think back then, at least from my opinion, I don't think any of these guys understood Lucha Libre. So you couldn't sit down and have a good match. You couldn't. So they were just kind of doing it with each other, these two guys. They didn't have really a booker or like a producer to help them. So I think it wasn't as refined. When you get to WWE, all that shit has to be done. You have to figure, like, they make you with the sit down with the agent and make sure that it's correct and it's clean. And not to mention, they practice that shit on the house shows that you don't see. So by the time it does come to television, it's crisp. AEW doesn't have like a house show schedule like that, like WWE used to have. WWE don't have it no more. But they used to have, where you would wrestle the same guy so much that at some point you didn't even have to speak to the guy because it was the same match, but we didn't see it on television yet because they played the match 1,000 times on the house show run. And when it got to TV, it's refined. So I think that the problem with guys now is nobody's really refined because they don't have that repetitiveness to continue to really beat into their heads so that they have the timing down perfectly. I think that's where we are now in wrestling, whereas like you're trying to avoid these injuries that Edge is talking about by cutting the schedule in half. But the problem is you're cutting the schedule down, because if you make these poor guys work at an accelerated rate like that, at the style they're working, these guys will be crippled by the time they're 35. So you have to, it's like one is trying to complement the other, but it still is not going to be perfected because these guys, the style is so dangerous. It's so risky. I don't want to say dangerous. It's very risky. So I understand where Edge is coming from. I hope he's okay. Listen, like I said, I've always called him the overrated R superstar. I never really saw it with Edge, even when he was in WWE. I saw him as a great Intercontinental Champion. I thought that was a good spot for him. When they put the title on, when he won the Money in the Bank, I saw what they were doing. Oh, they're sending Edge to the next level. It's his time. I understood it, but I didn't care. And I think that's a big problem in wrestling. Like I always say this, if you don't get a reaction, if nobody cares, then that's a problem. WCW and its Nitro TNT had a best balance of story and so many styles of exceptional wrestlers. I would agree and disagree with that very, very much so, Menjoza. WCW, while had good wrestling, the storylines really didn't go anywhere because they didn't really understand what the fuck they were doing. You know, and especially when the NWO came in. When the NWO came in, it was about the NWO. Nobody gave a shit about anybody else. That's why everybody ran rampant in Nitro. Go back and watch those Nitros, but the storytelling wasn't there except with certain feuds because those are top guys like Macho Man and DDP. That one got a lot of attention, you know. But like a lot of ones that didn't get attention were your Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero's in WCW. Got a lot of attention in WWE. Why? Because they highlighted it correctly. WCW, they didn't give a fuck. They didn't care because they were under the NWO. And it's a shame because those matches were fantastic as well. You know, so like I said, go back and watch WCW. Sometimes people, I think, we tend to romanticize that past, the old wrestling from those days. And when you watch it back, you go, it was good. And I remember, you know, because I'm a kid and nostalgia, but like this shit wasn't that great. Like some of these wrestlers, I'm giving them too much, you know. And I'm only saying that as somebody who's gone back and watched a lot of this shit in the past. And like, oh my God, I had rose-colored glasses when I talk about this particular feud or this particular angle or some shit like that. But yeah, I see this one too, right here under it. Dean Malenko and Ultimo Dragon had some really good matches. They did. Like I said, that whole cruiserweight division. Dean Malenko was a fantastic talent. He just didn't have charisma. Dean Malenko had the charisma of an icicle. Why they called him the Iceman. Like he didn't have any. He just came out and he was a great worker. You know, and when you're a great worker, it'll get you to a certain point. You can't ascend past if you're a good worker. You have to be a great personality. That'll ascend right through being a good worker. That's why a lot of these guys didn't have that great charisma. They didn't have that great athleticism, but their charisma was so good that they just ascended on through to the other side. Where guys who had amazing athleticism and were great workers, you fucking you Malenkos and you guys like your Benoit. Benoit won the belt, but he didn't draw a dime. That's why he took the belt over at SummerSlam. That's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to be a charismatic person. A lot of times these guys weren't charismatic. Man of 1,000 holds, exactly. But we all remember 1,004. Why do we remember 1,004? Because Jericho's in the ring with a fucking sign that drops all the way down and he's reading all the holds off in the ring. You get what I'm saying? It's charisma. It's charisma. And we remember Dean Malenko now, but a lot of people don't even. You bring him up. Who? I never saw his stuff. Like young wrestlers now, they don't really, unless they really want to study the game. But some don't. That's the problem. And I'm only, like I said, I'm only saying by what I see when I was at shows. I'm not at shows so much anymore. But when I used to be at shows. Anywho, let's get back to the feed here. Let's see what else the people over at WrestleZone have for us. What's up? I love WWE. They just need competition to be great. Yes and no. Yes and no. They're very good now. I think they finally have some fresh. They have a fresh eyes on it with Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Triple H is doing a very good job. Here's the thing with Triple H. Let's see how it goes with the long haul. Let's see how it goes with the long haul. Let's see what else you got. Sabu, 200% talent, 0% mic skills. Well, there's a lot more that went into Sabu there, Shane. Sabu was also a really bad drug addict. I have an amazing Dean and Chris story when they were in the Horsemen. Dean and Chris Benoit. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, put it in the comments. Thank you. I also see here Josh Alexander reflects on his run with TNA Wrestling. I also found out that Josh Alexander currently hired a certain agent. I forgot who's reporting that, but this is coming from Matt Black from WrestleZone, that he's reflecting on his now that he's a free agent. He did hire an agent now to work out his next deal. So I don't know if he's trying to get to WWE. I don't know where he's going. But Josh Alexander's a very good time. We're just talking about a lot of wrestling ability, but zero charisma. And you're looking right here at one right now with Josh Alexander. But this is happening this weekend. These two dummies are fighting at Grand Slam. I mean, AEW is just AEW is terrible. I'm trying to give it its rightful chance, people. But like, go ahead. What?
Like the time for AEW was what? Yes, no, 2
Wednesdays.
days ago, and you're like, it was like 20 minutes after, and you're like,
I
guess we've completely.
I was editing something. I was doing something on the computer, and I looked up at each other. I guess I already gave up on it.
We completely gave up on it.
I guess I gave up on AEW already.
No shit's given. Like you're like, oh.
Yeah, dude, I'd not give one single shit, man.
Yeah.
It's not that amazing, but very funny. My favorite Chris Benoit story from WCW is he won the belt from Sid, and then he threw the belt in the garbage. Like it wasn't on like a promo or anything. Like he was so fed up with WCW, he wanted out so bad that they gave him the belt. And as soon as they gave him the belt, he went right backstage and threw it in the trash.
Wow.
Like
I've seen someone do that with like flowers.
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck. He didn't want to be there no more. This morning, Michelle McCool was surprised by Triple H on ESPN's Get Up, and was told that she's going into the Hall of Fame alongside her husband. The Undertaker was there. He surprised her. Congratulations. The Hall of Fame isn't as fucking, I don't know, maybe it's just this year. It doesn't have as much luster as it used to.
Why? Is that because everyone's just getting it?
I think it's because everybody's already in.
It's like, here's your award. Here's your.
No, I just think everybody's already in now, and now you're grasping. But like the people that nobody really gave a shit about, I think is what it is. What's this now? Hey, Action Figure Addicts Nelson. What's up, bud? Thanks for joining us, man. This is where you came. You came to the right place now for wrestling talk.
Yes.
By the way, TNA announces that Unbreakable will be in Las Vegas on April 17th, which is very, very interesting.
Isn't that the start of
WrestleMania weekend? Look at you.
Oh no.
You fucking mark!
Oh my god.
Yeah, TNA Wrestling made the deal with NXT, obviously, so they're probably going to be working very close. That's going to be a good show. That's probably going to be your opening ceremonies right into WrestleMania weekend. This is going to be a good show. So is that
Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Oh, listen, WrestleMania weekend, wrestling starts that Monday or the week before.
No, but the 17th is a Friday.
No, but I'm saying like all the independent companies,
they start early.
Everybody floods to wherever WWE is, and they all run shows.
Same city?
They all run shows in the same city the whole week. You have a wrestling show every hour on the hour out there during WrestleMania weekend. So it's nice to see that TNA will be now having a show. Like I said, probably alongside NXT. It'll probably be for something.
17th is Thursday.
Yeah. So it's probably Thursday, then Friday is SmackDown, then Saturday afternoon is NXT. Then of course you have Saturday night WrestleMania Night 1, Sunday WrestleMania Night 2, then Monday Night Raw in Vegas too. Brian Pillman wanted out of his WCW contract too. They all did.
That's Easter.
They all did. Like I said, WCW. A lot of people they romanticize WCW. A lot of people. They don't remember this shit. I remember this shit. I remember all this shit. But a lot of people tend to just block it out because they're like, oh, I want that time in wrestling again. Man, there's a reason why those times are a one and done. You can't recreate those, man. It's lightning in a bottle. You can't redo those times, man. They had to hurry to get them in before they were going. Now it's all over. Hall of Fame. It's not even. I think they put everybody in now. Like everybody that you wanted to see, at least from my generation now, is in. So at this point, the only people that would maybe kind of be like, all right, yeah, cool. It's like Randy Orton, Batista, John Cena, because those are like.
Not in it?
No, John Cena's retiring now, so he's not going to go in until he's done.
Oh, I didn't know he was retired.
Yeah, I liked all that hot garbage in WCW, buddy.
It's okay to like hot.
It's okay to like it because I liked some of WCW too. Don't get me wrong. Ravens Flock, I was a big fan of because I liked him from ECW. Perry Saturn to me was really honed in WCW before he came to WWE. He honed his gimmick and became a good worker. I know he was a great worker in ECW. Don't get me wrong with the Eliminators, but he really honed a solo career in WCW and was able to come over with the Radicals in WWE and then have, some success. He was good enough. He just, unfortunately, had a drug problem.
I just heard that in the beginning of the TMNT movie, where it's like radical.
Radical, right? Yeah. Yeah, they came in with the Radicals. Ring of Honor. No, we don't care about Ring of Honor. Here's the thing. I'm going to talk about TNA real quick. We didn't talk about it on Spot Monkey Radio, so I'll talk about it now. I think John Cena should fight Joe Hendry. I think he should. I think that would be a great thing for TNA, great thing for Joe Hendry, and cool for John Cena. Just kind of cross off his list that he fought for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship before he finally retired. So it wasn't just an all WWE thing. I think that would just be cool. TakeOver Stand and Deliver is that weekend too. Yeah, it's probably Saturday morning, usually Saturday afternoon. They usually do the NXT stuff. And then it goes right into WrestleMania night one. So, but that's the thing too. So like they'll have SmackDown, and then they're gonna have the Hall of Fame on right after. So like WrestleMania weekend is jam packed with shit, dude. So and now they have NXT. They have Impact on Thursday. To TNA, whatever
so
it is
that
called.
What people watch at Easter dinner? They put WrestleMania on.
We will. We definitely will. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's not really much from WrestleZone. Let's see what we got from Wrestling Inc. So speaking of this, I like. So Kevin Nash spoke on Jey Uso's Monday Night Raw promo. He said it was very powerful. So let's see what he said here. I'm not saying this to be bad, but he went 12 to 14 minutes of doing yeet. And when it came...
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, and when it came to cut the promo, he was blowing sky high. So he was blown, meaning he was out of fucking... Because he was doing that for fucking 12 minutes.
What, he's actually singing?
No, but basically what he's saying is you're sitting there for 12 to 14 minutes doing this.
Oh, so you just tired.
And then finally they put a mic in front of you and you've been doing this for 14 minutes and now you're like...
Well, he should just start it and have everyone else do it. He's going to do it for the whole...
Well, when you feel that adrenaline, when you have fucking 17,000 people all singing your song and he's saying yeet with you, you get into it, man. You get into it. So Nash said on the podcast, his Click This podcast, obviously, if he's going to be the main event guy, he's got to take into consideration if I yeet my match away before I have it, I'm going to suck fucking wind. And when it's time to make a comeback and all that, that's all got to be calculated into his brain. Okay, I'm just reading that now to myself. All right. So basically, he's basically saying, don't Ultimate Warrior yourself.
Look.
Fox, don't hate on the yeet. Embrace the yeet. Exactly. Mm-hmm. She can't. She refuses to embrace the Samoans.
No, I like Jacob Fatu's song.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's where it starts and stops for you. I like his song.
I like his song.
I agree with Kevin Nash. It's cool to see the 25-minute yeet and shit like that, and it's cool to see because the crowd is into it. It's good to see how over he is, but it's obvious at this point how over he is. He doesn't have to fucking do the 12 to 14 minute yeetathon. You know what I'm saying? He can come out, get them going, and then just kind of cut his promo. And then at the end, if you get the promo out of the way, then yeet for 14 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It'll happen. Cena will elevate. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. But there's a thing that Greco said about Joe Hendry. Where Greco said that John Cena had a talk with him, and John Cena goes, "They're not going to do it for you. You have to make it happen." So I have a feeling that Joe Hendry's going to make it happen. He's going to start talking smack about John Cena. It's going to be something that happens, and John Cena will show up on Impact Wrestling, or Joe Hendry will defend the TNA Heavyweight Championship either on SmackDown or Raw against John Cena, so that it doesn't count against John Cena's appearances. So, because like if they send John Cena to TNA, because John Cena only has a certain set of appearances, and John Cena has to make those appearances on WWE television, so they can't kind of give one of those to TNA Wrestling. You know what I'm saying? So what I think would happen is Joe Hendry would show up on a Raw and fight John Cena for the title. And I think that would still elevate TNA, still draw eyes to the TNA product. If Joe Hendry, which I know Joe Hendry would do, have a good showing against John Cena, because John Cena's not going to bury him. And I think it would elevate everybody, and John Cena would have a good time doing it. Because John Cena's, like I said, he's on the twilight, he's on the 18th hole, he's just having a good time. I don't think he's counting the strokes. You know what I'm saying? He's just hitting the ball. He's just having time. He's having all the mulligans he's allowed to have. Yeah, I agree with Kevin Nash. He's got to settle down on the eats. He's doing too many eats. Indie wrestler. Oh my God, I know this guy. Jesus Christ, we got to check on this one. I know this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy?
I've booked this guy.
Oh my God! And look what he's arrested for, babe.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Felix came over here yesterday. Said, "Yo, Charlie Tiger got arrested." I thought he was kidding.
Yeah, you laughed at it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Go up. See what it says.
All right. So, indie wrestler Charlie Tiger arrested for making terrorist threats at IRS office.
Oh my goodness.
I guess he went and cut a promo. I guarantee you that's what he fucking did.
Oh no.
I guarantee you. According to the Cherry Hill Courier Post.
Oh yeah, so you're saying they didn't get what it was?
Which
that
first
it was a
published the
promo?
report. Yeah. Police responded to a call at 2:20 p.m. this past Monday about the suspicious man wearing a mask and carrying a backpack. Officers assisted the IRS employees in evacuating the building safely.
Wow.
Following an inspection by law enforcement using bomb-sniffing dogs, officers declared that the IRS facility was safe for employees to return to work. The Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that Hutton was unarmed and was and was detained without incident. Hutton was charged with making terrorist threats
and one count of harassment. Oh my God.
Goodness gracious. What a fucking dipshit. Buddy.
You're like, wait, I know this guy.
Yeah, do you know why they call him Charlie Tiger?
Tigers are the best cats, as we established.
He was attacked by a tiger when he was a kid.
So he's just been a psycho his whole life.
See his eyebrow?
Because how are you getting that close to a tiger is what I want to know.
I think his family owned one. Or some shit. You see his eyebrow? See the scratch on his eye and shit like that? The scar on his eye? Tiger bit him, tried to eat him. So I call him Charlie Tiger.
That poor tiger.
I know. Apparently, it sends you off into a tizzy where you're gonna fucking do terrorist.
Yeah, you have the madness now.
That's crazy. Charlie, do better than that, but what are you doing? You know?
Look. Honestly,
Bucks probably encouraged him. Yeah.
I only know why. Like, I only asked how did he get that close to a tiger because when I went to a zoo and saw a tiger, I was like, why are they so far away? And I had to I saw all the gates and stuff to get to the actual tiger.
I mean, Jesus.
So it's not easy.
Jesus. All right, so now we're going to get to the second topic here, and it's Ricky Starks showing up on NXT programming. Surprised everybody on Tuesday with his shocking debut. They didn't say his name because I think technically they're still dealing with some legal mumbo jumbo to make sure that he can come over with no issue. I don't have any images of Ricky, so we just put the.
You don't have it yet?
No, yeah.
Switch the.
No, I can't find him anywhere.
Oh.
Yeah, so let me just say. But Ricky, he showed up on NXT this past Tuesday. Basically said that the Revolution is back to being televised.
Can you make it small?
Oh no, you can leave it like that.
Yeah,
you can leave it like that. Yeah. The Revolution will now be televised. But you want? Yeah, yay! Ricky Starks made it out of Guantanamo Bay for real. And we're gonna play some fantasy poker with Ricky right now.
Oh.
So now. Right out of the box, I wouldn't put him in the title match or anything like that. I think he's going to kind of earn his stripes a little bit, probably work a couple of young guys within the NXT system currently, maybe like a Wesley, probably work with a couple other guys, probably work within that TNA thing too, because he's already worked with a couple guys from TNA, so he kind of knows. And don't get me wrong, Ricky Starks has been around for a while. This has been a long time coming, I believe. I believe Ricky Starks has been buying his time in AEW, and I think he was going to try to make a serious name for himself in AEW. And then,
you want a photo of him?
If you could bring it up, please. And then, unfortunately, it was cut off at the heels by Tony Khan because, like I said, Tony Khan either got butt hurt that Ricky Starks was happy for Cody Rhodes. If that's the case, then Tony Khan is very petty.
This is what happened.
There you go. That's it. That's him at NXT, showing up at NXT. But I firmly believe that he will. He'll probably fight guys like, yep, he just honestly literally took my fucking, you literally took the words out of my mouth, Ash, figure out. I think he's going to kind of go into something with Tony D'Angelo, win the North American title, carry that for a little bit, be the North American champion, and then he'll work his way to the NXT title. I don't think they're going to give him that Ethan Page treatment right away. If it happens, I wouldn't be surprised. So if it happens with Ricky and he wins the NXT title right out of the box, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. But I think they should make him kind of earn his stripes. You know, he has nice, cool little intro here. How do we go from here? How do we proceed from here? Tony D'Angelo now just wrapped up his angle with Ridge Holland. So now Tony D is fresh for the picking. Tony D's got a clear road ahead of him. I think Ricky Starks, Tony D'Angelo, smartest play right now for the North American Championship. Don't put the World Championship on him or the NXT Heavyweight title, whatever you want to call it. Obi Fema is carrying that belt really well, and I don't think Obi Fema needs to be dethroned by Ricky right now. But I think Tony D'Angelo, went as far as he could go with the North American title right now. I don't think he's really not much farther he can go. So I think Ricky Starks would be a great fit or a great next opponent for Tony D'Angelo over on the NXT brand. And like I said, if Ricky Starks wins the North American Championship, I can see him representing the company very well. He's very articulate, very intelligent young man. He's got a hell of a look. He's got what they call the it factor. I think he's finally ready to break on through in WWE, in the WWE system. And I think Tony D'Angelo is the perfect first opponent for him. I see action. How is it to watch wrestling while being in it? Can you still get sucked into the story? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You just gotta. I'm gonna be quite honest with you, Menjoza. The only reason I started doing this show was because I just wanted to, get involved in the news aspect of things with pro wrestling. I like to be a mark. I like to be surprised. So, like when this shit happened on Tuesday with Ricky Starks, I didn't really know. Like nobody really knew. They just knew he had gotten released. So to see him pop up, for a moment, I had that Mark moment where you're like, oh shit. I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, you pop hard.
Yeah, so you still have him as a worker. It's just what happens with me is, and my wife will attest to this, is a lot of the times is I will see moves and tell you where they fucked it up.
All you kind of see while watching is the moves.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, they fucked that up. He's got to be careful with his knees there. Fuck his knee up. Oh, you see that? He almost hurt himself. Like that kind of stuff. I see that because I did all the moves. I know all the stuff, and that kind of shit. But when it comes to storytelling, it'll suck me in if it's good. If it's a real good story, I'm in. It's the bad shit that goes nowhere. It makes no sense. And like AEW is just, it's all over the place, man. Oh. Tony Khan, petty, that can't be. That's the truth, bud. That's the truth. Because, he's holding off all this great talent. All of this great talent. He's holding it off, and it sucks. It sucks for him because he could have done stuff with Ricky. He could have done stuff with Ray Phoenix. He could do stuff with Warlow. Why are these people off TV? It makes no fucking sense because now they're going over to WWE and they're going to be stars. If you don't think fucking Warlow is next, if you don't think fucking as soon as Hobbs is done with his deal, he's not going to try to get back over there, I'm telling you, it is. And like I said, I love the fact that Triple H is subtly just going, basically doing what Vince did. A lot of people don't see that. A lot of people think that Triple H is burying AEW, and he is, subtly. But what he's doing is he's doing what Vince did against WCW. Basically, Vince was bringing in Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, Eddie Guerrero, right? Big Show. And he was slowly putting these guys over that you weren't. So while you were burying them, and now don't get me wrong, he didn't bury Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes kind of buried himself when he took himself out of the title picture and shit like that. I understand because Cody Rhodes didn't want people to say, oh, well, he's the owner of the company. That's why he's the champion. I understood Cody Rhodes' logic. But Cody Rhodes was the prime baby face at that place, and the crowd didn't get it because the crowd is an indie crowd. They don't like baby faces and heels. They just like all the anti-heroes and the flips. That's why Cody Rhodes didn't work at AEW. Really? Cody tried. Yeah, Cody tried. Cody would have been a great heel there.
He's like, sure. Why don't they like me?
So Cody went over to WWE. What happens? Fucking prime babyface.
Yeah.
Prime babyface. You know what I'm saying? And now speaking of second chances, for instance, Tony Khan had CM Punk. He had him. CM Punk cried at a press conference talking about how he's so happy that that Tony Khan has his ROH footage and it's not going to WWE, and that now people can watch, and he's going to do this renaissance of his career in AEW. And in 1 year's time, he got into 3 real fights and told Tony Khan, you're a fucking joke. This place sucks. And now is having the best, I firmly believe, the best run of his career. And that takes us to my last subject. And this will be,
Wait, hold on.
I hope Hobbs can get picked up. He's got potential as a big guy. He does. He does. And like I said, we're going to close this out with just open discussion. And let me just get this out. This Tony's takes for this week. And that's basically my in terms of my honest opinion here about CM Punk, this is probably the best run of his career. It truly is. And I don't care what anybody says. Like, he's had great runs, don't get me wrong. I loved his straight edge savior gimmick. I loved it. I truly did. But this run of his career, Drew McIntyre so far, fantastic. The Seth Rollins storyline, fantastic. And now you're setting up for something either between John Cena or Cody Rhodes. Either way, I'm in. Now, I've never been a big CM Punk guy. I didn't like his attitude, and I think he finally corrected it in terms of how miserable he was. Now, you can have an attitude. I don't give a fuck. You're a grown man. But he was miserable, like all the time, like miserable. And he's not no more. It's clear he's not. And I think that's why he's having the greatest run of his career, because he's truly happy. He's truly enjoying it. He's working against the people that he's always wanted to work against, but couldn't at that time because those weren't the guys that were over. He was frustrated. He wanted to work Seth Rollins. He wanted to work Roman. He wanted to work those guys. The problem was Vince had other plans, and he didn't like it. Now, he's on the plans because Triple H is in charge. Triple H sees the potential for these stories. Triple H sees the potential for these matches. And that's why CM Punk, in my opinion, is having the best run of his career, bar none. I don't give a fuck what anybody says right now. It is fantastic what he's doing right now. And it's only going to get better, I think, as long as he stays healthy, because he has been hurt a bunch of times already. So he's got to stay healthy. So if he stays healthy and he can space this out correctly, he can feud with everybody he's wanted to feud with and have beautiful, meaningful storylines and have a great end to his career. I firmly believe that. But he wasn't going to have that in AEW. And I think he knew that. I think he thought it was going to be like that in AEW. I thought he was going to go over there. And I think he thought when he got there, he was going to have this beautiful swan song with a lot of these AEW guys. You know, your Bryan Danielsons, your Claudio Castagnolis, your John Moxleys, and Adam Page fucked it all up because Adam Page went in business for himself because CM Punk had a personal problem with somebody else and he inserted himself in that personal problem. Now, I'm not saying CM Punk is right for not liking Colt Cabana, and I'm not saying CM Punk didn't have anything to do with Colt Cabana getting pulled off television. I don't fucking know. But what I do know is Adam Page should have minded his fucking business. And Adam Page should have done the business correctly. That wasn't your place. You don't fucking say shit like that. And like, you don't go into business for yourself in a promo. Because now CM Punk had to go into defense mode and figure out some other shit to say. You know what I'm saying? It's not right. So, I think that was like when he started to realize, like, oh, wait a minute. These guys don't really respect the old timers, and I'm an old timer now. And it only got worse with Jack Perry and all the other bullshit with the Bucks and everything else like that. So I think he thought he was going to get what he's getting in WWE at AEW, and he didn't. And now he's got it in WWE. And I'm happy that he was willing to not only bite the bullet, swallow his pride, and go back to WWE, but go back to WWE with a completely different mindset, because that's what he needed. He couldn't go to WWE with that mindset he had at AEW, because he went, as soon as he walked into AEW, that first press conference, and he talked all that shit about how he's happy that this guy has his footage because he didn't want the other guy to get it and whatever. It was already negative and just full of malice and shit, because he's already full of hate towards the other place. And every time he went on AEW programming, he would take shots at the other place. And all you did was look like a spoiled little brat that was upset that you weren't there. So you were making fun of it. And I think it showed. So the fact that he was able to swallow his pride after he left AEW and go back there with hat in hand, and Triple H, the brilliant businessman that he is, learned from Vince McMahon, basically knowing that it doesn't matter what people do or what people say. If it draws money, bring them the fuck back. And that's what he did. And now CM Punk is having the resurgence that he wanted. So I'm happy to see that. You always want to see a happy ending. So I'm happy to see that he had this, that he's having this beautiful ending that he wanted. So the swan song for CM Punk is exactly what he wanted and what we all wanted. Because CM Punk was always good. You know what I'm saying? He was always a very talented individual. He was always great on the fucking mic. One of the best promo cutters in the game till this very day. And he will go up and down in history on most people's Mount Rushmores as promo cutters. There's just no doubt in my mind. But I'm happy that it's happening for him. So I'm happy to see that he is having the resurgence in his career that he wanted. So, from this program, CM Punk, I'm very happy that you were able to get the send off that you're eventually going to get, and you're getting it in the right place. It wasn't going to happen in AEW. I'm glad that it's happening in WWE. That's where it should happen. That's my take for this week. Now, I'm going to tell you guys right now, you're going to catch these cut up and put on separately on the False Finish channel as Tony's takes. Please make sure you like and comment on those as well. But it's basically going to be taken from here. But every Friday at 2 p.m., I'm going to be coming here and hanging out for an hour or two. We'll just talk wrestling. There's not really much going on in the feed. Like I said, the reason I say that is only because I moved Ricky Starks to my Fantasy Booker segment. Otherwise, I could sit here. Because and then I see you're bringing up all these guys. Triple H has got to handle the 3-hour SmackDown better in terms of programming. They're going to get there. They're going to get their action figure addict. I think they're just getting their bearings because it just went to 3 hours.
Remember what was it when the Netflix was glitching?
Oh yeah, Malik brought it up.
Ago.
Yeah, Malik brought it up. But and I think Greco brought up a great point about it because Greco said I don't think it was Netflix as much as it was WWE's like truck.
Okay.
Maybe having some problems.
Well, then what about WrestleMania then?
WrestleMania's not on Netflix.
Oh, it's not.
No. That's on the cock.
Oh.
Yeah. But
that's on the cock.
I think what you got to figure out is you just got to have a steady flow. I think at some point, Alpha, I think SmackDown might wind up going to Netflix or just wind up being on a streaming service as well. Because I think Triple H likes the freedom of ending in 2.5 hours. I don't think Triple H wants to go 3 hours. But they have that hard out. So he's got to extend it. And on SmackDown, the reason you have a problem with the SmackDown programming is because a lot of the great talent that was on SmackDown is going to start transferring over to Raw. So it's going to there's this weird shift that's happening right now. And what's going to happen is, and what I mean by that, not to say that SmackDown don't have talented guys, because they got Damian Priest, they got Drew McIntyre now, they got a few great guys on SmackDown along with Cody Rhodes and Jimmy Uso. And Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. They got a lot of great talent over there too. Let's not say that SmackDown doesn't have the talent. What I'm saying is there's got to be a shift. So now Damian Priest has to find his way into a feud. Drew McIntyre's gonna have to find his way into a feud. And because right now Raw has got established feuds. So to me, that's why Raw's programming seems a little bit better, because not only do they not go a full 3 hours, they go 2.5-ish. Everything seems to be already in place, setting up for the next Raw, because Raw's the A show. SmackDown kind of fell to the wayside now because it's on USA for 3 hours. So they're just kind of getting their bearings. Let them get their bearings, and that programming, I promise you, will get better. And just give it a couple weeks. Especially now, it's leading into WrestleMania season. SmackDown's on tonight. We got some good matches on SmackDown tonight. I know we got Braun Strowman versus Damian Priest and Jacob Fatu in Elimination Chamber qualifier, I'm sorry. And we got some other stuff. I assume Charlotte Flair will pick Tiffany Stratton tonight to fight at WrestleMania. That'll happen tonight because Jey Uso picked Gunther on Raw. So they'll probably just tie that shit up tonight so they can start the program and the story. I think you'll see the Street Profits start to kind of wheel.
Is that the one with the weird girl and the dog? No. The
Street Profits.
The one I'm talking about.
The one you're talking about is from AEW, the Hounds of Hell.
Hounds of Hell.
The Hounds of Hell, yeah. The Street Profits, I think, will wind up weaving themselves into the tag team, and I think that'll probably be either a triple threat or a fatal 4-way tag team match at WrestleMania. So I'm just trying to help you with some programming here off of SmackDown. And I think what else is on? Solo Sikoa is going to start fighting Cody Rhodes. He's going to fight Cody Rhodes Elimination Chamber. They need to put a bow tie on that too, because Cody Rhodes needs to have Cody Rhodes' plate needs to be completely clear for whoever wins the Elimination Chamber. Now, it ain't going to be Seth Rollins. I'll tell you that right now. Seth Rollins is not winning the Elimination Chamber. He's going to get it would be cost the match by Roman Reigns, and he and Roman Reigns will finally have the blow off to 10 years ago with the Shield. They'll have it finally at WrestleMania, have some closure, and it will close the book on Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins once and for all, guaranteed. I think the winner of the Elimination Chamber right now, if you had to make me guess or make me bet, it would My money right now, John Cena, and the with the underdog being CM Punk. I think CM Punk is
John Cena will win, you said?
either one or the other. One or the other.
Even if he's retiring?
Yeah, well, he's retiring at the end of the year, and I think he said that he wants to try to win belt number 17. Now, here's a crazy
that
thing.
he has won 17.
Yeah. Now, here's a crazy thing we can add also to Fantasy Booker, since we're going crazy here, baby girl. John Cena, technically, if he wins the TNA Heavyweight Championship, will count as 17. Take that information as you will. So, Joe Hendry, before you run off at the mouth, and John Cena could say that, if I win your belt, that technically counts as 17. And how crazy would that be? John Cena as the TNA champion. That would be funny. Now, I don't know if that's probably not going to happen. But if it happens, that would be pretty fucking sick. But will Charlotte do the job for Tiffany at Mania, or will she use her name to get her another title shot? Here's the thing, I think what will happen is, she's going to be used to elevate Tiffany. So she will do the job. But then what will happen is she's going to head over to Raw, and then that'll be the end of it. So she's just going to be to help. They want to elevate Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown. Rhea Ripley doesn't need it on Raw. Rhea Ripley's obviously over on Raw. So whoever you bring in to fight Rhea Ripley's already over. Tiffany is the unproven commodity. Tiffany needs the win over Charlotte to now be the proven commodity. She's not a proven commodity yet. So now, don't get me wrong, is she over with the crowd? Yeah, but she's not proven yet. She's got to have that match. And you got to have that match with Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte Flair helps elevate that title. Doesn't help elevate the belt with Rhea. So I think that she has to do the job. If you want to elevate Tiffany Stratton, if this is just going to be another Charlotte Flair show, then Charlotte Flair wins the title at WrestleMania, and off to the races we go with Charlotte Flair again. But I don't know. I think the time for that crew of women is over. Your Becky Lynch's, your Charlotte Flairs, I think it's done. It's
really?
done.
Even Becky, the one who's everywhere?
Becky Lynch hasn't been on TV in months.
Oh, who's the one that Bailey is on?
No, Bailey. If you see what Bailey's doing, Bailey is elevating the younger talent. That's why she's going to NXT constantly, because she sees it. It's over. Like, the time for you as the champion is kind of over. It's time for you now to help the younger generation to get over, so that now
she knows that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And she's okay with that.
Some people love doing it. John Cena loved doing it. That's why John Cena, when everybody was
I thought it was more like she's going to all these jobs and be like, hi, like, here's my application, and like trying to get on things.
No.
But no, she just
certain wrestlers get to a point in their career where either you can be a pain in the ass and hold on to your top spot, or you can help elevate the people around you and become a pillar. And I think she's going to become that. And because I could see what why she's always on these shows, and she's always fighting the younger talent, because she's trying to elevate the talent around her. So, like I said, but the time for them at the top spot, it's done. It's coming down. It's coming to an end. So they just got to be okay with it. Or they can do what the other dummy did and go to AEW and win all the belts and just walk around with all the belts, and nobody gives a fuck about it. Nobody cares. So if you really want to be a fucking pain in the ass to have all the belts, then you can go do what the other dummy did and leave and go to AEW, where Tony Khan will just put all his gold on you, and he will praise you even though you suck and don't draw a dime. You can go do it there. But here, I think it's over in WWE. That's just my opinion, obviously. I don't know what the fuck. You tell me I don't know what the fuck I know. I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? So, just that's the way it is. So, WrestleMania is shaping up to be pretty awesome. Elimination Chamber is shaping up to be pretty awesome in a couple of weeks. So, I'm interested to see how it goes. I'm interested to see who qualifies tonight for the Elimination Chambers. I know they have obviously they're gonna have a women's qualifier. I think with Chelsea Green, I think, is fighting to qualify. And like I said, you have Damian Priest, Jacob Fatu. I hope Jacob Fatu wins. Call me Amar. Hey,
delusional thoughts from Fantasy Island.
Say that if you want, but I'm hoping Jacob Fatu wins. I think he will. It's either him or Priest. Braun Strowman's not getting in, but I think it's going to be.
You're like, definitely not getting it.
Yeah, I think Damian Priest will win because they want to continue Jacob and Braun to WrestleMania. Don't be surprised if Braun and Braun and Jacob fighting like some kind of weird gimmick match at WrestleMania, whether it's like a cage, a Hell in a Cell, because they're gonna be like two animals that need to be contained or whatever. I think AJ Styles is fighting Braun Breaker for the IC title at WrestleMania. I thought it was going to be Penta, but I don't think it is. I don't think it's going to be Penta just yet. I think they'll have something special for Penta at WrestleMania, but I don't think it's going to be involved with the title picture, any title pictures. So I'm excited to see where it goes. Like I said, I'm excited for SmackDown tonight. I will be watching Grand Slam tomorrow, as well as Stand and Deliver. So I'll be watching both of those shows as well tomorrow night. I know Grand Slam is on at like 1 a.m. because it's in Australia. I don't. Is it on pay-per-view or is that on TV? Do you know? Because I don't know. I know Stand and Deliver is on the Peacock, right? So I'm definitely gonna watch that because my lovely wife pays for Peacock. She's the fucking best.
Yes, I am.
So yeah, I mean that's really it today. This was the first episode. Like I said, I'll be back here every fucking Friday. I will.
The feed every effing Friday.
Yeah, the fucking feed every fucking Friday. Come on in and hang out, please. Thank you guys, for all you guys, for supporting and coming and hang out. I appreciate you guys for real. I want to help grow this channel. So if you know any other wrestling fans, please share this.
If not, create them.
If you could do me a favor, I'm gonna need you all to stand up. This is the Click. We're taking this over from Legends Series. Now it'll be on Max. It's a glorified Collision now. Okay, thank you, fucking Alpha. All right, so I'll have it on too. Alpha, I will tell you this. I just spoke to Abi from Figure Fight Club, and I told him about having some watch parties with some of these pay-per-views coming up. If you'd like to join us, I'll extend the invite to you as well. You will be joined by me, possibly the two hosts of Spot Monkey Radio, Malik and Greco, as well as Abi, and we can all just talk wrestling and shoot the breeze and everything like
Play
that.
that Mark thing.
You fucking Mark!
Yep.
That's right. And while we watch all these great WWE things, we just hope we hear this, don't we?
Say his name and he appears.
You know you like it.
Oh my gosh.
I appreciate all you guys hanging out, man. Like I said, the news feed wasn't much because I took the Ricky Starks and I wanted to put that in my fantasy poker because I really wanted to talk, because I really do think that he will be fighting Tony D'Angelo. I think that's the part, like that's why Tony wrapped up his shit on Tuesday. And Alpha, I saw in the comments that you said you need to watch that Tony D'Angelo cage match. It was a great match. It was a really good match. So I would highly recommend it. Check it out. NXT on this past Tuesday was pretty good. I'm keeping a very keen eye on Brian Pillman's kid. I didn't really care when he was on AEW television because AEW, but when now he's doing the Lexus King thing, I kind of like what they're doing with him. I like him on the mic. I'm digging it. Ethan Page was a big guy I loved at AEW, and I love what I'm seeing from him in WWE. I hope they bring in Josh Alexander to work him. I would like to see the dynamic between the two, or even if they put them back together. I don't know. But I know we're counting down the days to when Malekith Black or Aleister Black comes back to WWE. That's happening soon. It's obvious with Chad Gable. So, hell yeah. I even gave my wife one of those when he won. Right? Oh, Tony D won the title over here. Hey, he's the fucking champion.
His meatballs.
He represents all us meatballs. I like Tony D'Angelo, and I'm not just saying that because he's a wop.
Because you're Italian.
I'm not just saying that. I like the presentation. I don't like that they.
Look.
I don't like that they say
Family?
accompanied by family. It should be accompanied by the family. That's just one of my pet peeves. But apart from that, I like the presentation of him. Will that translate to WWE program when they bring him up? If they bring him up to the main roster, that's the question. That's the one you got to be worried about, because I don't know. That's a real fucking. That's a real angled gimmick, if you will. You know, like the real mafia shit.
Yeah.
You know, and considering they kind of did it with the Bloodline, because if you watch the Bloodline, it's very mafia based.
Oh yeah.
You know, so to
you
me,
mean the Shield?
no, the Bloodline. Roman Reigns.
Oh
The
yeah.
Roman Reigns
That's
shit.
A family thing.
Yeah, like the wise man and this, and you do the fade of go against the family
Yeah.
and all that shit. So it's like very mafia based. So to bring up
That's
Tony-
just tribal mafia.
But yeah, it's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just Samoan mafia, but it's
Yeah.
still mafia nonetheless. So
Yeah.
to bring up Tony D, who's doing this mafia, it's very stereotypical too of Italians. So I don't know if it'll translate to the main.
I think
the main
also with their
roster.
outfit and how you said family instead of the family, they're kind of implying it more than like outright embodying it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean, because
I
like
don't-
even the outfits are muted. It's like you could definitely dress more mafia. You could definitely up the.
I mean, he was in the
mafia-esque.
suits. They're in the suits.
No, I know, but like it's still subtle to me.
And I love the tracksuit. Tony D'Angelo got the best tracksuit in the business. Can we just admit that?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll admit it.
Who else is wearing a tracksuit?
I don't know, but this is the best tracksuits I've ever seen. It got fucking giant Italy on the back. It's funny. It's nice.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Earlier, Action Figure Addict said, "Will you buy the Ricky Starks action figure though?"
Yes, I will. I'm still looking for a Cody Rhodes action figure. Right now, currently on my checklist, AFA for action figures in terms of wrestling, it's Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Jacob Fatu at some point. I know they'll release him. I want that figure. I want Solo. So I want the whole bloodline. Obviously, if you're not seeing where I'm going, the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens Ultimate figures. I like them. And really, as crazy as this sounds, because I loved what I saw Zakanin do with the head. He made laser pants. I thought that was pretty cool. But I want Kevin Owens just cause. I'd like to build out a wrestling roster for my shelf.
Look.
I only have a few. Tony wants a replica Tony D's tracksuit. Yes.
Yes. A 1-to-1 scale.
1-to-1 scale, please and thank you. Yes. Yes. Buddy, don't be surprised if I ever start showing up to shows in tracksuits.
Oh my god,
All right. That's a thing.
that will happen.
And it will happen at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will fully embrace my
We will be
meatball.
in matching,
My meatball roots and just start wearing tracksuits all the fucking time. Trust me when I tell
matching tracksuits.
Yeah.
You and I.
you that. Trust me. And then when you put them on, you're gonna be like, I don't know why I haven't been wearing this from day one. Anyway, so I appreciate you guys hanging out. There's only an hour, not too bad,
That's good.
of the feed here. Like I said, it's usually gonna be about an hour or two. I'm not
Microdose your wrestling
gonna keep it too long because I don't want to
wrestling news.
oversaturate or whatever. But like I said, keep an eye. I'm gonna break it up. It'll be clipped out on here on the Full Finish channel, and please share it. Go to fucking wrestling groups for me and share this. Share it all over. I need this to spread like wildfire. So I need everybody in this chat's help. Even I know like Jeff doesn't really into wrestling, but he wants to learn. That's why he's in here listening. And same Shane is starting to kind of get into it because of me and Alpha and everybody talking about it. I need you guys to share the shit out of this for me because I need this shit to spread like wildfire. So I beg you, if you see the shit in come up on my stories, whatever the case is, just share it. Put it in wrestling groups. If you belong to any wrestling groups, I belong to a few. I'm going to share this when I'm done. I need it to catch on. So call to arms, if you will. Call to action, if you will. Please and thank you, guys. I appreciate you, man. Like I said, I'll be back here every Friday at 2 p.m. to talk wrestling stuff, to just kind of get you ready for the weekend in wrestling. And then, of course, every Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Full Finish, Spot Monkey Radio. Myself, Greco, and Malik. We break down the shows. That's why I don't really break down the shows here on the feed. I'm not going to get into like, oh, what happened on this at this particular show. I'm just talking about the feed and kind of just what's on my mind in terms of wrestling and stuff like that. Next week's Tony's Takes will just kind of happen. They just happen. I don't have them planned. Like this one I had planned, the CM Punk one, because I really wanted to talk about Punk. We'll see what happens next week, and we'll play Fantasy Booker. Fantasy Booker, I want to start bringing guests on just for a small segment so we can kind of fantasy book something together. I told Bobby about that, and I'll tell you Action Figure Addict as well. So if you're interested in playing Fantasy Booker, we can even go back in time. We can, if Shane is in this chat still and he wants to go back in time with me and book WCW, we can go back and book WCW. I don't give a shit. I did it with Malik one time and I had a blast. So if you're interested, please stick around, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Please join the False Finish Army. Like I said, let's build this dynasty together too. So, like I said, I don't ask much to share the shit because it's not your responsibility, it's mine. And trust me, I'm doing it. But when it comes to the wrestling stuff, I need all the help I can get. So if you could please help me share it, I would greatly be forever in your debt. That being said, that has been the first edition of the feed. What do you think?
Yep.
Not
I
too
like
bad, right?
No.
Pretty good. We got through the news.
We
How
have a
did you
cool-ass
guys?
Background.
How did you guys like it? Did you like this new setup? All the red, the storm clouds in the back,
I do.
right? You guys tell me. What do you think of the aesthetic of the show? What do you think of the show? I'm going to try to keep it fresh. I'm going to continue, like I said, to bring you at least entertaining content and consistent content. So like I said, so let me know what you guys think of everything. Until then, until next Friday. Well, actually, until Monday, because I'm back at it on your radio dial on Monday with Spot Monkey Radio. This has been the first episode of The Feed. Take it easy, everybody. And for the love of God, let's keep some kayfabe. Deuces.